What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My channel is focused on helping you free your mind, also adopting holistic tools such as sound healing, meditation, and various other practices that I will be sharing that I use myself and that I'm also certified in. In addition, also raising the human consciousness. And what I mean by that is this because a lot of people are asleep. And what I mean by sleep is that they're walking through the day to day life and not being conscious about how they're interacting with the world. And so, raising the vibration of our human consciousness and allowing you to practice tools that I share on my channel that's going to really help you with healing and developing more ideals to help you free your mind. What's up, you guys? So, let's talk about the naysayers, okay? All right, so naysayers. What are naysayers? Naysayers can be your family, your friends, your spouse. It can be people that you work with. Naysayers are just another name for people who are going to say something about what they believe, okay? That's possible for you. Honestly, naysayers are speaking from themselves, okay? When you are getting advice from someone, you need to be conscious of who you taking advice from. I was told that you should never take advice from someone that you don't want to change places with. I believe that to a certain extent because I feel like we all have wisdom within us. But when it comes to taking advice from someone, you need to understand that they're speaking from their experience, from their perspective. Okay? So it could be someone that you want to switch places with, but not necessarily going to have the perspective that you're wanting. Okay? So what I mean by that is that even though you think that you want to switch places with this person, you also have to understand that their perspective can still also be skewed. And so when you're asking for advice, think about what this person is giving you. If someone is telling you something that is impossible for you, that is going to be challenging for you, that you shouldn't do it, then here's what I would say to that. Just because someone doesn't see it doesn't mean that it isn't true for you, okay? When you have a vision, when you know that life told you this is what you want to do, then do it, okay? Life has put this on you for a reason. And so if life says it's possible, then it is possible. So naysayers are only going to speak from their own level of intellect, their own knowledge, their own perspective, because they also have their own limiting beliefs. That's why I tell people you have to take advice from people with a grain of salt because you don't know if they're speaking from their own experiences. You don't know if they're speaking from their own fears. You don't know if they're speaking in a way that isn't biased because we naturally are biased, okay? So, in addition to that, naysayers, when someone says something to you and say, hey, that's not possible. If you believe it's possible, then it is possible. So, there's going to be naysayers. There are going to be people who say that you can't do something. There's going to be even family members that tell you you're crazy for doing this. You're going to lose everything. Or you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, when I tell you, there's going to be people like that. Because I remember getting advice from people that are in the field that I want to be in. And I was having these conversations with them and they were discouraging. They were like, well, you need to have this, you need to have that, and you need to wait because if you don't have this and have that, you're not going to be successful. It wasn't even motivating. It was like demotivating. And it made me like basically shut down because they made so much fear in me that I decided like, hey, I don't need to do this. So that's the reason why you don't need to listen to naysayers because naysayers can activate fear within you. And fear, operating from a place of fear, you can't really manifest anything. You can't really birth anything into reality. You can't really create from a place of fear Because when you're fearful, you're basically saying that you have doubt. And people can sense that. People can sense that you have doubt. When you are afraid to do something, people can sense your fear. And they might not know what it is they're sensing, but they know that there's something they're sensing, and they're going to walk away from you. So if you're trying to get clients, if you're trying to get a job, or if you're trying to start like a new career, whatever you're trying to achieve, people can sense the fear if you allow the naysayers to put you down. If you allow their energy, their perspective to become your perspective. And now you have created this limited reality within yourself. Now you have created this feeling because you listened to this person. Because you decided to take their advice. Now you have put yourself farther and farther behind because you decided to listen to the naysayers. You decided to listen to your friends and family. You decided that maybe I'll try something safe because of what you heard. This is what I want you to do. I want you to continue to do what you want to do. I want you to go after things, even if people say it's impossible. I want you to develop a belief within yourself. Because the truth is, if we don't have a belief within ourselves that we can do something, then it's not going to be achieved. So developing that belief within yourself is about having a connection with yourself. Having the relationship with yourself. Like, do you talk to yourself? Do you always seek advice outside of yourself? Or do you actually seek advice within yourself? And what I mean by that, like, when you're wanting to do something, do you always research it? Do you always ask somebody? Or do you sit with yourself and say, okay, I want to do this. What would it feel like to do this? What will my life look like to do this? And really start asking yourself those questions, like reflecting on it. Okay, I want to do this. If I do this, what would it look like? What would it feel like? How would I feel? And when you put your body through that, if it feels like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, I'm going to always have to work and I just want to work like 5 hours a day, whatever, start to think of your life as that. Start to interview people that's doing it, who actually like it and who's not going to give you negative advice. Like, say, how do you like your job? How is it going? Like, how do you feel every day getting to go to work and do this? If that's a job, if it's a business, ask someone like, what made you do this business? What inspired you? How do you keep going every day in this business? If it's something else, like having that conversation and only thinking about like the questions you asking yourself, how does it feel? How is your life? How's everything for you now that you're this thing that you want to be, or you where you want to go? Because if you can have those conversations with yourself and get your body to experience it, then you know the answer. You know it's possible because you just experience it. Now, you might not know how to get there, and that's okay, but you have experienced it. You know within yourself that this is right for you. Now you can do your research. Now you can get a coach if you need a coach, or a mentor if you need a mentor to get you there. But now you know it's possible because now you have this belief in yourself. You just experienced it. You just told yourself that, yes, I can do this. Yes, this is for me. So there's going to be naysayers, and that's okay. Like, don't feed energy to the naysayers. Don't allow their feelings and their emotions, their perspective to become you. To become you and who you are and how you think about what you want to do. Or whatever they're naysaying you about. Like, allow them to be that. Because remember, everyone has to have their own opinion. Like, you have your own opinion about things, and that's okay. But we have to ask ourselves, is that for us or isn't for us? Is this advice helpful or is this advice not helpful? Did this actually help me like make my decision, or did it just discourage me? Because if it discouraged you, that's an indication that that was not the advice for you. What advice that is for you is when you start to self-reflect within yourself. When you start to think like, hey, all right, what would this look like? Would I want to do this? How would I feel? You start asking yourself those questions, because that's the way you develop a connection with yourself. Because your body is always communicating with you. Your body is always telling you things, and you just don't listen to it. You reject it. There's been times where your body said, don't go there, and you still went there. And then you had a horrible experience. There's been times when your body told you, don't date that person, it's not going to work out, and it didn't work out. There were times where you took jobs you knew in your body that you shouldn't have taken, and you had a horrible experience. Your body is always communicating with you. Now it's time for you to start listening. So the way you listen, you can put your hand on your heart, put your hand on your belly, and you just close your eyes and start asking yourself those questions. What would it feel like? What would it look like? Like, what am I doing? How is my life? And really feeling it. Don't do this quick. Like, I know we live in an instant society where things are like quickly delivered to us. When it comes to making decisions, it's about taking your time to feel in your body that. And there's going to be some, if it's loud noise, because the ego likes to get loud because it has to protect us. If the ego start listing all these horrible things and is screaming at you, that is not your pure true self. That is the ego trying to rule your true self, okay? And we can talk about ego another time. If you want me to talk about ego, please comment below and I'll talk about ego in another episode. But for now, we're going to talk about this. So listen to that little voice within you, because that little voice has always been communicating with you. And I can honestly say for myself, times when I didn't listen to myself, it turned out horrible. And that was my lesson, right? That was the lesson. And there's no wrong or right. So if you make a choice that you don't like the experience, it's okay. You just make another choice. But the thing is, do not listen to naysayers. Listen to you. Learn to tune into yourself. Learn to develop a belief in yourself. Asking those questions. Asking your body, how does it feel? If there's discomfort and like overwhelming discomfort, then it might not be for you. But if it's discomfort from the conversation that you had with someone and they skewed your decision, then that's not your discomfort. That's someone else's discomfort. All right, you guys, so this is how you deal with naysayers. You do not allow naysayers to get the best of you. You continue to believe in yourself. You continue to harness your power. You continue to listen to yourself by putting your hand on your heart, your hand on your stomach, and closing your eyes, self-reflecting, spending time with yourself every single day. So this is what I want you to do. Every day, I want you to take 30 minutes to an hour to spend with yourself in silence. To really allow yourself to just breathe, whether it's just taking a walk in nature with no headphones, outside where there's no people, just where it's early in the morning, or if it's like in the afternoon, somewhere where you can be with yourself. And if you have anything on your mind, ask yourself those questions. When you ask yourself those questions, if they feel very heavy within your body, that's an indication that, hey, that's not the right decision. But if it feels light as you continue to ask yourself those questions, then it's just fear, right? It's just fear that you have, and that's okay because it's new. And if it feels light, then that's what you're supposed to do. All right, you guys, make sure you take time to reflect and really harness that belief in yourself. And the naysayers are going to say what they want to say, and that's okay. But remember, to free your mind, it means you actually freeing your mind. Freeing your mind from people's opinions, freeing your mind from experiences that no longer honors you. And when you continue to self-reflect, continue to listen to yourself, and develop that belief in yourself, you will be free. Because you'll realize that, oh, these ideals were keeping me safe. These ideals were not right for me. But these ideals, yeah, these are what's right for me. And you're going to continue to grow and develop, and there's going to be ideals you're not going to need anymore. And then you might create more ideals, and that's okay. All right, you guys, I hope this has been helpful. If you have enjoyed today's episode, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. All right. And comment down below, like, what do you get out of this? Are you going to do the exercise? Are you going to not worry about the naysayers? Are you going to take everyone's advice like a grain of salt, right? Only take a little bit of it to see if it's for you. And if it isn't, that's okay. All right, you guys, have an amazing day.